Get ready for your daily dose of WordPress and web development tips, tricks, and insights to help you find success with WordPress. You're listening to WP the Podcast with your hosts, David Blackman and Tim Streifler.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of WP the Podcast, brought to you by WP Gears. I'm Tim Streifler, and my co-host David Blackman is still out for the time being. He will be back with us soon. He has been taking some time off, and hopefully in the next couple of episodes, we'll be back to our normal routine with both of us. So I apologize you've had to listen to my voice exclusively the last few episodes, so my apologies for that. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the most effective way to grow an engaged email list. If you've been listening to WP the Podcast for a decent amount of time, you know that David and I are huge fans of email marketing and having a really high value engaged email list. And so for both of our businesses, my business, Divi Live, David's business, Divi Space, we have a fairly large email list that we're able to go back to promote new products, to promote sales, to blast out new content or anything like that. And it is by far our most, profitable channel if you compare it to, for example, social media or paid ads or anything like that. Having an email list is by far the most profitable. And so we're really big on it. We've talked about ways to grow an engaged email list. And we've talked about, freebies, offering something of value to your customers in exchange for their email. And so I have a side business with a close friend, not related to WordPress or Divi or web design, anything like that. And so we've been working on building the email list and having some freebies. And it was like we doubled the email list overnight. But then when we actually went back to promote paid products, it was terrible. It was not effective. And so it's reminding me that freebies are typically not the best way to grow an email list, because it feels like for every 20 people that will subscribe for the freebie, we'll get one actual engaged subscriber that stays on the list and will buy or potentially buy in the future. And so it's kind of reminding me that that's not effective. But what is effective is content and value. And so if you are consistently creating content that people care about and find valuable, so whether it's tutorials or educational videos or things like that, and you're creating them and making it clear that you're going to be creating more in the future, well, people will subscribe to your email list and they'll stay on your email list because you're consistently providing value. You're teaching them. Or if you have, if you consistently, you could do freebies, but usually have to consistently do more freebies, because otherwise people will take the freebie, unsubscribe, and then they'll be off your list forever. And so, kind of seeing that again firsthand from a new business, it's reminding me that freebies are not the answer. They can be one tool in your tool belt in terms of growing your email list. And kind of what I did with Divi Live is I coupled content and freebies together, where it was, I'm teaching you something, here's free education, and then here's a essentially what you call a content upgrade, which will give them, take them one step closer, and save them time if they just put in their email and then download the template or whatever it is. And so kind of when you combine those two, doing a tutorial with a freebie or educational piece of content, video, whatever, with some sort of a freebie together, then they're learning something and they're getting something for free by subscribing. And so they're more likely to stay on the email list opposed to just a freebie. And then it's just like this quick transaction, and they're not, you're not earning their trust and credibility and showing them what you're about through a tutorial, and it's just they're going to forget about you. And when you email them, they're going to unsubscribe because they don't remember subscribing in the first place. They weren't engaged from the beginning. And so that's in my opinion, I know David agrees, one of the most effective ways to grow an email list is through content, tutorials, education. And so we highly recommend doing that. And the cool thing is that can work in really any type of business. You kind of have to figure it out, more so e-commerce product businesses opposed to service businesses. But I've seen a lot of really good service providers produce a lot of really high quality content, and their businesses will flourish because of it. So have to get creative, but it's definitely worth it. So I hope that was helpful. Tomorrow's episode, we're going to be talking about 3 ways to screw up a website's design when starting with a template. So a lot of times people will start with templates and then they will royally screw up the design in just a few clicks. And so we're going to talk about some things you can do to avoid that. So until then, take care. Bye-bye.
We've come to the end of today's episode of WP the Podcast. Join us tomorrow for more daily tips and strategies designed to help you run your WordPress business towards success. Remember to subscribe to WP the Podcast so you can stay up to date with each episode. And don't forget to rate and review us. We'll see you again tomorrow right here on WP the Podcast.